All right, so for this story, I want to focus on the details of it because the details are something that are able to really just kind of bring a story to life, because whenever you have a movie or you have a TV show, that's when you're able to see what's going on. You're able to see the characters, you're able to see the setting, all the things that are going on. But when you're just telling a story, that makes it kind of difficult to for them, because they have to visualize it. They have to be able to, through your words, show the people that you're speaking to, your audience, show them what it is that you're talking about and where you're talking about. So for this story, I want to focus on that. Now, this is something that actually happened pretty recently, so that's kind of cool. Basically, it was a Friday night, and I was hanging out with one of my friends, and we decided that we wanted to go to Dairy Queen. And we had been just hanging out for a while, and we decided, yes, we're going to go to Dairy Queen. And I was home alone for the weekend because my parents and the rest of my family, they were in California. And so we're sitting in the living room debating what to do because we really want ice cream, but we have the dogs. And so I have two big dogs. One has like caramel fur, really big dog, and then the smaller one who's the same color, just a little bit smaller. Big dogs, Kylo and Katniss are their names. And I didn't want to leave them outside because I knew we might be gone for a little bit. And so I just decided, my mom has said before that the dogs are totally okay to be in the car, that they're good in the car. And I took that as, all right, that's awesome. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take the dogs. That was our first mistake. The dogs do not do as well as we expected them to do in the car. And we learned that very, very quickly. So it started out where we had both dogs in the back seat. So Kylo, the bigger one, we put him in the back seat, but in order to get him there, we were basically dragging him because we didn't think, hey, we should probably put a collar and a leash on him. We just thought we'll be able to walk him out there. And so at one point, I'm like gripping onto his fur, he still has baby fat, so it was okay. Gripping onto his fur, trying to take him to the car, and he's like falling to the ground and just kind of like rolling around all over the place. He's whining, and it's the worst. And we're taking him to the car. We finally get him into the car, and then we have to get Katniss. Now Katniss, she actually had a messed up leg, and so I felt really bad because I didn't want her to get more hurt than she already was. But we went ahead, we picked her up, we put her in, and she was fine for a bit. But then she started to like roam around the car. She was in the back seat initially, and then she worked her way up into the front seat. And she switched the gears in my car probably 4 or 5 times over the course of the drive to Dairy Queen, which is all of 15 minutes away from my house. And so I'm having to hold her as we're driving. My friend is in the back with Kylo, and he's starting to bark at people. Like, we're driving past and he's just barking at people. And we get closer and closer to Dairy Queen, and like, okay, we got to figure out something after we get this ice cream. We have to figure out what we're going to do with these dogs. And we're in the drive-thru, going in, make the order. Kylo is at this point out the window. He's like, I roll it down just a little bit. He's out the window barking at people, just people that are walking by. And so at this point, we're like, there's a scene almost, because people are turning, they're like, what the heck is a dog doing here? Barking at random people. So we're make the order, going through the drive-thru. We get up to the window, and Kylo loses it because I had to roll down my window all the way to get the ice cream. Roll down the window all the way, and he's going insane. He is barking into the Dairy Queen, just barking his head off. And the worst part was the fact that I knew the girl who was giving us our ice cream. She was one of my students at church. And she's terrified. Like, she's genuinely scared of this dog because he's just out the window barking at her. And you have people that are getting their order taken coming and looking. You have people that work at Dairy Queen coming and looking at me and my dogs, who are currently barking at the people trying to give us our ice cream. So we get our ice cream. I tried to make conversation because the student, her name's Sally, she was making conversation with me. And it was like, this is probably the worst possible time that you could be trying to make conversation with me, but she's super sweet, so I was like, it's fine, it's whatever. So we drive through, and then we park because I'm like, we need to do something to like switch things around to make this better so these dogs don't go crazy the entire time. And so we're sitting in the parking lot. We take a couple bites of our ice cream, and then we put it in the back seat because we knew that the dogs were going to knock it over if we left it up front. And Katniss is now roaming around in the front. She's sitting in the front seat and just kind of walking around in circles on the chair, but she keeps falling off because she's a big dog, and so she keeps falling off the seat down into the, like, right underneath the seat. And Kylo's he's barking at people that walk past him, which is awesome. And we're just sitting there, and in it all, we just said, you know, they're gonna be okay. We're just gonna laugh about this. Like, it's great. This is something that we'll be able to tell people at some point and then laugh about it. We'll be able to learn a lesson from it, whatever it may be. But no matter what, it was a very interesting night, and I can say it was a fun one. It was a good one. So in that story, I was sure to use as much detail as I could because it was something where you kind of had to picture it. Like, I wasn't talking about being in some far off land or some fictional place. It was simply in a car driving to Dairy Queen. But I was able to create the details of what my dogs looked like, about the reaction of the people that were there, what we were feeling throughout it all. So that's just a way that you can use details inside of a story to really make an impact and really to create a story that the people that you're telling to are interested in and that they want to listen to.